So awesome to be with you again. How are you?
I'm well, Sailor. How are you? It's
I am
lovely to
doing
be hanging out
fantastic.
again. Yes.
Yes, it's so great. We were talking before we started recording. I think it was maybe last winter we did a tiki virtual tropical tiki cocktail event together, and that was so much fun, but it's been too long, much
I
too long.
agree, and I'm glad we're here again. And I love your whole setup back there. It's looking very seasonal and festive.
Thank you. I am thrilled not only to be here with you, but I'm thrilled to share your beautiful product with the world and with our amazing club members. I'm excited for I talk about you all the time, and I've told some of the club members that I'm closest to, like, you don't understand. We say all the time, talk about tiki and tropical cocktails. She literally wrote the book. Like, it's not just a term. She did it. This is it right here. And I know several of our club members have already gone out and purchased the book because they were excited to look at it and read it and have their hands on it before they met you. So, still one of my favorite books. I absolutely love it. And then, lo and behold, here I am on Instagram, and I'm like, Holy Tyger, what is that? Let me look. Whoa, wait, what? What?
You're like it's you're like it's a Shannon drink. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
In a bottle that I can just get. Oh my God. Because I don't live near you. And I want a Shannon drink all the time. And now I can have that. Holy
Well, that
Tyger.
that's the beauty of drinking of Livewire. So the whole idea behind Livewire, which is based in LA and founded by Aaron Polsky, formerly of Harvard and Stone, is that he could get bartenders to put recipes together that could go into a can or a bottle that anyone can have at any time, whether you're at their bar or not.
So smart. And I got a chance to speak with him and kind of learn about what he's doing. And my favorite part, because you know me in music, is he said, well, I'm kind of running my company like a record label. And I was like, shut up. That is so cool. I love that. Phenomenal. I happen to have obviously some Holy Tyger here, and all of our club members got a sample of it. So I can't wait to hear what they think. I like putting it over I've got a king cube in here and a bit of a dried lime. That's it. It's it. That's it. You guys, we have a Shannon cocktail. That's all I had to do.
Well, again, that's the genius of Livewire. It's meant to be very simple. So in the case of the can, you can have it straight out of the can. You can put it over ice. And in the case of the bottled drinks like mine, which is the Holy Tiger or Chris Patino's Alley Cat Old Fashioned, you put it over a big rock or put it over, smaller ice if that's your preference. Garnish it, make it look cute, and then you're done. So with that being
This,
said,
oh, the
cheers.
smell, the aroma. Cheers. I can't get over the aroma. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip.
We'll talk about the aromas because they really nailed it in terms of getting the flavors correct, getting the aroma correct. And I was blown away by the samples that we tasted early on in the process. But
So
Sarah, I'm
that
curious, like,
has
what are you picking up there?
okay. So I want to definitely talk to you about how scary it is to let someone else interpret, right, and articulate your recipe. But so immediately in the aroma, I just it's confusing to me a little bit, which I love that. I It smells familiar, so it gives me like a sense of comfort because there's some familiar smell, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is. It takes a minute for me to realize there are some earthy notes, and then I realize I'm smelling a bit of whiskey, which makes me really excited. But I'm smelling some tropical notes as well. And then the minute I taste it, that lemongrass, oh, it is divine. I love it. Mm.
Well, I like that you pick up on that dichotomy between what's familiar and comforting and then something that's a little hard to put your finger on. And that's the essence of what I think a good tiki or tropical cocktail should do. Like there should be something about it that's appealing and something you can relate to immediately, but then a little je ne sais quoi. And
Yes.
so what you're picking up on that might be a little harder to pin down is the coconut fat wash infusion on the bourbon. So the bourbon is the familiar part, but that coconut kind of gives it more of those floral aromatics.
Yes, that
You
that
don't
confused
expect that to
me.
be there.
I
Yeah, but
love
then
it.
it's a soothing and, nice flavor when you get down to it.
It is really phenomenal. And if, for those folks that haven't had a lot of, we call these RTD cocktails, you're going to hear that term a lot, and you're going to start seeing that a lot. Ready to drink is what it means, right? All you have to do is pour it. It's good to go. Or like Shannon said, if it comes in a can, you just drink it. You may think of, like, unfortunately, the White Claw took over, the seltzer market. But the reason I bring that up is a lot of the ready to drink cocktails that I've tasted, there is a small problem with them, which is it's very chemicalized. And I understand it's very, very difficult to put a whole cocktail into something that has a long shelf life and still have it taste exactly like you would want it to taste if you made it at the bar. This does not have that. And I think that's what blew me away right away is I don't get any chemical smell or flavor. It really just tastes like I made the cocktail, stuck it in a jar, and put it in my fridge, and I pulled it back out. That's hard to do.
Well, yeah, no, again, that's a testament to Livewire's commitment to quality in that the way they source from uh, the vendors that supply the products that go into it is unlike any other RTD company out there. And I would even contend that their bottled and canned cocktails can actually be a little better than the fresh rendition. I mean, I really love this bottled version of the cocktail, which I've made fresh on many occasions in different environments because the variables are totally drilled down
Mm,
to, you know, it, it's not like you have different citrus on different days. It's always the
that's a great
same,
point. Great
and it's
point.
super consistent and delicious.
Great point. There is a hint of bitters in here.
Yes.
And I wanted to taste it without reading the ingredients first. Purposely, I did that. It was like I kind of got a sense of what it was, and I'm like, I don't want to read any more about it. I want to just taste it first because I don't want anything to influence me. But it's not. I don't have an Angostura flavor. I don't have your traditional aromatic bitter flavor. So talk to me about the bitters that are in this cocktail.
Yeah, these are Bitterman's Jamaica #2. And I wanted to go in that direction because it's a little heavier on clove. And just
Mm-hmm.
for some background and the inspiration behind the drink, I wanted to make a tropical whiskey sour because the whiskey sour is like my first go-to drink, when I was underage
Yes.
and going out to bars. It's like a spiked lemonade. Let's be real honest, right? And it's
Sure.
like your way of like inching your way into, drinking more of a classic cocktail. So Angostura bitters would certainly work in this bill, but I wanted a little more fall spice to really bring out the
Mm.
spicy elements in the bourbon.
I love it. I love it. That is so. I love your description. It's fantastic. Club members know that the whiskey sour is my favorite drink ever because I just love. I love it as. I love it for what it is, but then I love how it's just a base and you can turn it into anything you want, which is so phenomenal.
And I think
So
it gets
phenomenal.
so slept on. I think
It does.
bartenders just don't really do anything with it. And so I was excited to find an opportunity to elevate it and make it interesting and worthy of a conversation again.
I love that. And you are definitely the person to do that because of your knowledge and experience with tropical cocktails and tropical flavors. The way you articulate tropical flavors is that's one of the things that I really loved about the title of your book, Tiki Modern Tropical Cocktails. That is so incredibly intentional. And you recognize that once you start reading the recipes in the book and tasting the recipes in the book. It is such a beautiful modern approach to these cocktails that for me, a far better experience in my opinion. And you definitely brought that through to Holy Tyger in a big way. Just knocked it out of the park, I think. Definitely.
Well, yeah, I mean, in regards to the title, I didn't want to put out another tiki book because there's a lot of good examples out there already. And I was just fascinated by how to use ingredients that I didn't see showing up in those other books. And by way of doing that, I hope to kind of revitalize the genre as well as get people interested in it that maybe didn't think that it was for them. So if you're not in rum, that doesn't mean that tiki is off limits to you because you can use bourbon, you can use rye whiskey, you can use agave, and any number of other modifiers. And that was like the driving inspiration behind that.
I love that. And that speaks to me because my favorite spirit to put in tropical cocktails is whiskey. I make no bones about this. There's plenty of rum out there that I enjoy. It just isn't my first spirit love. We all have our own, first spirit love. Whiskey happens to be mine. And just, as I went through my career as a bartender and mixologist, learning how to incorporate these flavors, that's one of the reasons when I first found you and read about you and years ago had you on the podcast, that's one of the things I loved was your interpretation and how you I think you just broadened the category, right? You just made it so approachable to the masses because unfortunately, and I know this is changing, thank goodness, a lot of people think of tiki or tropical cocktails as being very sweet and heavy and sugary and syrupy, and which is such a shame because that's not what it has to be, and you do a great job showcasing that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad that you picked up on what I was getting at early on because I didn't see a lot of examples of what I was trying to do in bars at the time. And I wrote the book in 2018. It came out in 2019. So the fact that I felt like I was going out on a limb, but apparently, people were able to kind of recognize what was going on there and appreciated it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was kind of in the trenches for years using whiskey when whiskey was, not something most people drank, and putting whiskey in cocktails, people looked down their noses at it, oh, why would you can't put whiskey in cocktails, that's not what whiskey's for. And so I felt like such a loner out there, being the champion for whiskey. And so when I find other like-minded people that, don't really, I guess it's about, this spirit doesn't have to be just for these cocktails, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that was the way I was regarding tiki. Like I think people automatically assume tiki meant rum. And I was like, well, I want to go back to, Don the Beachcomber and ask myself, well, what would Don do? I was like, what would Jesus do, right? And I'm sure that if he had access to mezcal and any number of other things, he would have utilized them, but that just wasn't the case at the time. And so
Yes.
I was looking at not like what is the category or what type of thing is this, but it's like, well, what flavor does it bring to the mix? And let's focus on that. It doesn't really matter what the label on it is, because like, what is the end result?
100%, and you're absolutely right. He would absolutely, especially agave spirits, he would
I hope
100%.
so.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's a no-brainer. Don't you think so? I think so.
I mean, that was me, but I could be wrong.
Well, when you mainly had just whiskey and gin and rum, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. All
yeah,
speculation.
it's so true. We're creating our own narrative here, you guys. You heard it here first. So, tell me about the name Holy Tyger, why you chose that name.
Yeah, so it's based on a cocktail recipe from my book called The Tiger Shark. And as I was working with Livewire on coming up with this recipe, we wanted to make it a little different in recognition that there were going to be some slight alterations of the recipe. And when we were looking at the packaging, I was really inspired to reference Japanese tattoo art and also dig a little deeper into my sordid past of being a big fan of terrible kung fu movies from the 70s and the 80s.
My favorite
So,
too.
so I wanted something that would kind of like talk about that pop culture element And, let's say the Holy Tiger was like a kung fu move that was like only restricted to people that had, high levels of knowledge. So we had a lot of banter going back and forth
I
and
love that.
landed on the name through that.
That's it. Well, we had the crane, right? The Karate Kid crane. And then now we have
Exactly.
the Holy Tiger, whatever that would be. Maybe it would be like the shaker move or
It will
something.
take you at one strike.
Yeah. Kind of like Spock's neck pinch, but
Yeah.
it's like you think you're about to like do the shaker, but it just
Yeah.
knocks you
It's just
out.
like
I love
one.
it.
Pow.
It's ridiculous. I love it.
So yeah, then we want to put like a little bit of a camp factor in there,
That's
and
so
it's
great.
a bit of an inside joke. But we want to again build layers of pop culture into the name and into the package, into the image that's on the bottle, and just make it as nerdy as possible. And if you want to take it there, there's enough there for you
I
to get
love it.
into. Yeah.
Yeah, the artwork, you nailed it. I mean, obviously, I'm a big tattoo fan, and this is totally in my wheelhouse. I've got my dragons. I fell in love with the artwork. I mean, the brand just does a great job with their artwork. He sent me a sample of everybody's stuff, and I was just blown. Rocket Queen, I was like, come on, I was blown away. It's just so cool. Really, I love it. I love what Aaron's doing. It's really exciting. And the other thing that I did was I played a little bit with this to see, what is it like if I add tonic or seltzer? The salinity or that tonic flavor. I prefer the seltzer myself. That's my preference. I also added a little touch of ginger beer to it, and that was lovely as well. So that's what's great about well-made, ready-to-drink cocktails is that you can add tiny little changes to it and it changes the flavor of it, but it's ultimately still, an easy one pour situation. So like, you can drink it like this, or you can add a little seltzer to it. If you want some effervescence, it's absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, I want this on the shelf all the time. So when I come home after a long day and I've been making cocktails for people all day on camera and I just don't want to have to make another damn cocktail, I'm going to grab my Holy Tiger now. Truth.
Well, I'm glad you brought up this, the fact that you have been tinkering a little bit, because it does come in a bottle, and that means that you can regard it as a product that is whole in and of itself, or something that can be modified somewhat. And adding soda or ginger beer is totally in line with like this idea of like, if you like a whiskey or bourbon sour, then there's a good chance you like a whiskey soda or a whiskey buck. And so I would say, whatever you want to do to kind of like make it a little bit more like yours, by all means, don't be afraid to just do a little modification as you would with any other thing coming out of a bottle.
I love it. I love it. And it's truly fantastic. I like the size of the bottles. That was really awesome as well. I think that's so fantastic, especially because it is a ready to drink cocktail. So you don't need a lot of volume. So that was absolutely brilliant as well. I mean, I want the club members to understand, don't be deceived by the size. You have to remember that it is ready to go. So you really don't need a lot of it. But it's priced really well too. So buying a 4-pack is very easy to do. It's certainly a lot cheaper than going to a bar and sitting down and asking for a cocktail of this quality and consistency every single time at that price. We definitely want you going out to bars if you feel safe to do so. We definitely want you to support your local bars and mixologists. But if you're home and when you're home, this is a great product to have to just grab off the shelf.
Yeah, I mean, put it in the freezer, buy a 4-pack, and then you don't have to worry about mixing cocktails for your guests if you do have people at your house, you're not going out. And then again, back to your point regarding like mixing with soda or ginger beer, it's also fun as a Boilermaker. So, some people
Oh,
that are a bit more the kind of hardcore dive bar crowd, Boilermakers are not off limits with this, like a juicier IPA or a
ooh, I
sour
love it.
beer, a citrus sour, a cider.
What?
We start thinking about like the holidays and just how to kind of
Yeah.
stretch it out or make something communal and fun and easy where you're just like popping and mixing, boom.
I love that is all right. I'm gonna have a can of beer with
We
you
should have
next
talked about
Wednesday.
this before. We should have talked about the cider option before.
I know, right?
Yeah.
All right. That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna talk about it on Wednesday. That's absolutely brilliant. I will tell you, I also heated it up a little bit. I made it warm.
Oh, you made a toddy?
I made a little toddy with it,
Oh, right on.
and I loved it. It was fantastic. I was like, do I need to add like a pinch of cinnamon or nutmeg to this? And I tried it with it, and I'm like, no, it didn't need it.
No,
It didn't
no.
need it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna drink it anyway, but that was unnecessary. And so I just put it in the mug and stuck it in the microwave and made it warm, and that was it. And it's perfection. So if you're in a cold weather climate and you want to heat it up, you can do that too, which is amazing. So all through the winter, this will keep you warm.
Siberian tiger.
I love it. The great white tiger. I love it. That's so great. This is phenomenal. I'm super excited to hang out on Wednesday together. I'm excited for everyone to, I can't wait to hear their thoughts on what they think about it. And we're going to have a little special promotion. So club members that are watching this, stay tuned to your email. We're going to have a promotion on being able to get full-size bottles as a club member. So you'll have that opportunity. And if you cannot join us or did not join us on Wednesday, that sucks, but we will definitely have Shannon back if you would be so gracious sometime to be with us again and do something really fun. We're going to, starting out next year, we're going to do some box takeovers where we'll have some of our favorite mixologists take over the box and determine what cocktails should be in every box. And so we would love to have you do that one month, Shannon. I think that would be a blast.
It'd be my pleasure.
Be so fun. Yay. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. It was so great to have you here today. I'm excited for Wednesday. I will be in my costume, which I don't want to reveal yet, but just be ready for it.
I'll get myself braced for impact for sure.
I'll give you one little hint. I have to paint cleavage that I don't have. So that's my hint.
All right. Well,
Very
I'll be on the lookout
Halloween-y.
for that. I'll be on the lookout for that.
So I will see you next Wednesday. Club members, I'm looking forward to seeing you all as well. And stay tuned for your emails. And thank you again, Shannon, and cheers.
All right. Cheers. Good to see you all, and I'll see y'all next week.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Okay. Bye, Sailor.